Hey, Kathleen.
Hi, Carlos. Nice to see you.
You as well. Nice to see you too. Hey, everyone. I'm sitting here with Kathleen Allen. She works with the law firm of Dolan Connly, and we're going to just kind of go over the whole closing process. This is part of our first-time homebuyer website videos, and I'd like to thank Kathleen for coming in today and giving me some of her time. Hey, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. I have had the pleasure of working with Dolan Connly for the last 12 years. I've been practicing law for 16. I do focus my area of practice here at the firm in real estate. So though we're a full-service firm and we do handle other types of legal matters, I myself handle solely real estate-related matters. James Dolan, retired district court judge, worked extensively in the Dorchester District Court, is a member of the firm here. And Greg Conley, Marine Corps veteran, is a litigation attorney, managing partner here. So it's a little bit of background about our firm itself.
Great. When should somebody get the attorney involved? If someone is looking to purchase a home, they've made the decision that it's time for us to look for a home or a condo, when should they get an attorney involved in the process?
Personally, I love to hear and speak with people as early on in the process as possible.
Okay.
There are a lot of documents that are being presented to potential first-time homebuyers or homebuyers in general, and they do have significant legal consequences. So it's imperative that you, before you sign anything, clearly understand your obligations and rights in that document, and the best way to do that is to speak with an attorney.
So the purchase and sale should not be done without an attorney looking at that document?
Absolutely. I mean, the purchase and sale agreement is likely the second document in the transaction that a first-time homebuyer is going to look at, the first being the offer. The offer in Massachusetts is a binding contract, so in theory, before signing it, you need to be very familiar with the terms and the obligations contained therein. And so I pride myself in my availability to speak with people on the telephone or meet with them here in our office. We have a satellite office in Pembroke, should you be working on the South Shore, to go over the terms of any agreement or answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, great. Yeah, so even before the offer gets put out there.
Yep.
If somebody, we hear about all of these foreclosed properties that the banks have pulled out, are rolling out and this stuff. Is it a good idea for a first-time home buyer? I guess the question would be, what would you recommend a first-time home buyer, how would they handle looking at a foreclosed property?
Well, the foreclosed properties are very attractive to first-time home buyers, primarily because of the price. The reason why most of these properties are priced competitively, or in theory below market, is because the banks that have foreclosed and become owners of them want to liquidate these assets. Most of the times, the conditions of the property are not nearly move-in ready, which would be an issue if you are seeking mortgage financing to buy. And also the nature of the contracts themselves. When dealing with a bank-owned or REO property, there is no negotiation as to the terms of that purchase and sale agreement, okay? And the obligations of the buyer in those agreements are very different than the standard third-party transaction for the purchase and sale of real estate. So definitely, I wouldn't say shy away from them, but understand it's a more sophisticated and complicated transaction, which absolutely would require the assistance of an attorney.
Okay.
With that,
Okay.
yeah.
And fees, what would somebody be expecting to pay for fees when they hire an attorney to represent them, and maybe even talk about a little bit from the closing standpoint? Is there a set fee, or is it just based on?
We typically charge a flat fee here at Dolan Connly for representing buyers of residential real estate, as well as sellers, if you happen to be a seller. We like to let people know up front, depending on the nature of their transaction, what they will be expected to pay or be paying for that service. It's an all-inclusive fee.
Okay.
So if you're communicating by email, excuse me, telephone, in person, all of those communications would be covered. We also typically do attend the closings with our clients. We want them to have a comfort level that their interests are being represented and questions can be answered. And at closing, if you are securing a mortgage to purchase your property, you would be expected to pay another legal fee for an attorney to represent the bank. So you have to understand that if you retain an attorney to represent you privately, that's one particular fee. And at closing, because as part of your closing costs, there's another legal fee associated with that.
For the bank.
For the bank's attorney to do
And
the settlement work.
can the same attorney represent, or can the same law firm represent both
Yes,
the
you
buyer
can.
and
Yes,
the bank?
if there's no inherent conflict between representation of a bank and the settlement agent, and a buyer, okay?
Okay.
So there's going to be a disclosure of the fact that there are two roles being,
Yep.
or two hats being worn by the attorney, that of buyer's counsel and that of bank's counsel. But the interest of the bank is quite similar to that of the buyer in that they want good, clear record and marketable title.
And does hiring the same attorney for both legal transactions,
Mm-hmm.
that would just make things go a lot smoother, I would think, right? 'Cause
Absolutely. Absolutely. You end up working with one person's schedule.
Right.
They know you personally. They know your work schedule. If you need to complete a closing earlier in the morning or you have childcare issues in the afternoon, that attorney can work around that schedule with the bank to do their very best to make sure that your schedule is accommodated
Right.
to the best
Right.
of their ability. And it's nice to have to deal with just one individual
Yeah,
and not
right.
have to coordinate and juggle
Right.
other people's schedules.
Be in the middle there and try to
Right.
see what's going on there between the two attorneys. Owner's title insurance. Do you recommend really any buyer purchase owner's title insurance?
Absolutely, and I can certainly elaborate when I'm representing individuals and provide them with specific examples of why owner's title insurance is so crucial. But let me sort of explain to you in general what owner's title insurance is, the cost associated with it, and why I think it's important. You typically pay a flat fee for your owner's title insurance based on the amount of the purchase price. So there is a mathematical calculation which I can provide the actual quote for, depending on the property you're purchasing. That is a one-time flat fee that covers your interest in the title to the real estate up to the amount of that purchase price for as long as you own the property. So it's
Okay.
not like you're paying it annually or quarterly, it's one time and you pay it at the closing. The bank requires, as a condition of granting a buyer a loan, that the buyer purchase title insurance to insure the bank. So
Okay.
the bank's interest, in theory, is a smaller interest than you as the buyer.
Sure.
And they are requiring that they, as a condition of the
protect
purchase, that
themselves.
they protect themselves. So if the bank is requiring that you purchase their policy, which insures only the bank and not you, but you're required to purchase it, why wouldn't you insure your own interest in the real estate? So I highly recommend it to my clients. It's very rarely not purchased, but it would be clearly, in my opinion, a mistake not to get it.
Yeah, and it's funny. We purchased a property a few years ago at auction, and the title was not clear. And thank God we did purchase the owner's title insurance. It took a couple of years of whatever the system was in the court to clear that title. So
Money well spent, right?
Absolutely,
Money
absolutely.
well spent.
Peace of mind, peace of mind. Homestead Act. What does that do? How does that work? What's the process to get that put in place?
Sure. Part of our flat fee in representing buyers does include the preparation of a homestead. What the Homestead Act allows an individual to do is to place a notice on record at the applicable registry of deeds that the property in which they're purchasing is their owner occupancy, their
Okay.
residency,
Yeah.
and it allows a buyer to shield equity in the home
Okay.
up to $500,000 once it's filed against the forced sale of that home by a judgment creditor.
Like a lawsuit type of
Exactly. So if someone were to sue you, the first thing that they're going to look at is look towards your assets to say, well, if I'm successful in my lawsuit against you, I need to know that I can recover my judgment. So
Right.
where am I going to get that money from? Most people, if they own a real estate, often have equity.
Right,
If
right.
we're fortunate enough, we would have equity in our home. So that equity in your primary residence can be protected up to an amount of $500,000 should someone sue you and recover a judgment against you.
Okay.
They wouldn't be able to force the sale of your home to recover that equity
Okay.
to apply towards the money owed unless the equity exceeds $500,000.
Okay, so it's just another insurance protection of some
Right.
sort.
It's a $35 recording fee typically.
Wow.
So it's for $35, you're able to get up to $500,000 of equity protection. Absolutely money well spent.
Is that form filed once, or is it filed every time perhaps you refinance the home, or is it just a one and done type
One
of thing?
time, one and done. Clearly, it's typically done at the time that you're doing your purchase
Yeah.
transaction, but if by chance you didn't have counsel representing you at the time of your purchase and it's not on record, when I do refinance transactions for my lender clients, I do point it out to borrowers and
Right.
offer it to them for an additional fee
Sure,
if they would like
sure.
that. But
Great, great. Is there anything else that maybe you'd like to share with us? Is there anything that comes to mind that maybe a first-time home buyer should consider? You know, other than just hiring an attorney right up front,
Yeah.
right? Finding somebody that you can work really well with.
Well, I think it's important, especially dealing with a first-time home buyer, and I truly enjoy that part of my practice, that there's a lot of stress and anxiety involved in the process. You are purchasing likely the most expensive item that you ever will in your lifetime.
Yeah.
And never having done it before, like anything else, it's an unknown. And when
Right.
you're dealing with an unknown and a tremendous amount of money, the stress and anxiety can escalate.
Sure.
So what I pride myself in is being able to alleviate some of that anxiety by being accessible and answering questions that you might have about the process. I think knowledge is power.
Right.
So the more you ask, the more you know, the more you're educated about the process, the more comfortable you're going to feel.
Right.
And I look forward to that opportunity to help first-time home buyers through that process. I really
Great,
do truly
great.
enjoy it.
And on a different note, what are you reading? What's on your
Oh,
what's on
my-
your bookshelf?
What am I reading right now? Well, I just spent a weekend at the beach with some friends and read a lot of foodie magazines. I truly
magazines, very
enjoy.
nice,
I truly enjoy looking up recipes and experimenting in that
Special
way.
cook? You enjoy to cook?
I enjoy cooking. I do enjoy it. My husband sometimes is nervous about what is on the plate in front of him, but he's a willing participant.
Lucky to get something, right? As we all are, lucky to get something. Well, I thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
It was a pleasure to sit with you.
Oh,
I've
my
known you
pleasure.
for such a long time, and you're just a joy.
Thank
All
you.
the transactions that we've been involved with you've been a rock star.
Oh, thank you.